Amid the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict and in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, India has called for mutual cooperation amongst members during the recent BRICS Summit. BRICS brings together 5 of the largest developing countries in the world, representing 41% of the global population, 24% of the global GDP, and 16% of global trade. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his virtual address, focused on the post-COVID economic recovery. He urged all members to cooperate and integrate their efforts to achieve the BRICS aim of prosperity for all.
वैश्विक अर्थव्यवस्था की गवर्नेंस के बारे में हम ब्रिक्स सदस्य देशों का नजरिया काफी समान रहा है और इसलिए हमारा आपसी सहयोग वैश्विक पोस्ट कोविड रिकवरी में उपयोगी योगदान दे सकता है.
Prime Minister Modi also called for strengthening of the BRICS identity and proposed the establishment of an online database for BRICS documents, BRICS Railways Research Network, and strengthening cooperation between small and medium-sized businesses. India will be organizing a BRICS startup event this year to strengthen connections between startups in BRICS countries. The Russian president said the BRICS grouping was mulling development of reliable alternative mechanisms for international payments.
И, конечно, только на основе честной и взаимовыгодной кооперации можно искать выходы из той кризисной ситуации, которая сложилась в мировой экономике из-за непродуманных, эгоистичных действий отдельных государств, которые, используя финансовые механизмы, по сути, перекладывают на весь мир свои собственные ошибки в макроэкономической политике.
Despite growing conflict due to the Russia-Ukraine war and the COVID-19 pandemic, India's real gross domestic product is set to grow by 7.5% in the current financial year, making India the fastest growing major economy in the world. Prime Minister Modi told BRICS partners that India's digital economy was set to cross $1 trillion USD by 2025. Even during the pandemic, India had taken measures to improve the ease of doing business by reducing compliance burdens on companies. Prime Minister Modi also invited businesses from BRICS nations to invest in India's $1.5 trillion national infrastructure pipeline. The COVID-19 pandemic severely affected the global economy for 2 years. With the coronavirus pandemic slowing down, the economy is showing signs of recovery, with a boom in sectors such as real estate. The overall sentiment in the real estate sector has improved, owing to a better business environment backed by high vaccination coverage, robust residential sales activity, and greater office leasing momentum. Currently, the sector is witnessing an upward trend. In the residential segment, the real estate sector is set to experience 5% capital value growth in 2022. In the office space segment, it is expected to rise 15 to 20% higher than the previous year. The players in the real estate sector believe the momentum is expected to continue into the future.
As economy is growing, so 100% people will go for their own house, second house, even bigger house. So this is going to be a big way in coming 20, 30 years till we are a developed country. We are in a stage of developing country right now. So till we develop, we are going to reach that developed status. This real estate demand nobody can stop.
The real estate sector is rapidly growing throughout India, extending beyond the major metropolises. Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities are now experiencing a real estate boom as well. The saturation of the real estate market in India's largest cities and the growing economic importance of towns are the primary reason for this growth despite the pandemic. With 45% of total startups in India being located in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, there is not only an increased demand for commercial property, but for residential properties as well. The government, too, is laying its full support by hosting summits and exhibitions to encourage people from across India to invest in real estate properties in non-metropolitan areas. Jammu, for example, recently hosted a real estate summit where many contracts and agreements were signed, half of them on the construction of residential homes.
मेन थिंग क्या है कि पूरे देश अभी कंपटीशन में है, हर स्टेट हमें बुला रहे, ये नहीं है कि JNK सिर्फ बुला रहे, पूरे देश में हमने कर्नाटका में किया है, यूपी में किया है, आंध्र प्रदेश में किया है, वेस्ट बंगाल में कॉन्फ्रेंसेस किए हैं, तो हर स्टेट हमें बुला रही है और इससे एक मल्टीप्लायर इफेक्ट चाहना चाहते हैं कि रियल एस्टेट का कैसे प्रगति उन्नति ज़्यादा हो।
Niti Aayog, the apex public policy think tank of the Government of India, expects that the country's real estate sector will reach a market size of $1 trillion USD by 2030 and will contribute 13% to the country's GDP by 2025. Already the third largest sector to bring about economic growth, the real estate industry in India is expected to continue its upward trajectory in the coming years.